Hey there. It's Wednesday. We did it. All right. Hey, everybody. Let's get the game up. Get some epic sounding music going. Welcome to part 15 of Tyranny. Holy smokes. We're doing DLC today. The one expansion that the game received is my understanding. And we kind of got right into the start of it at the end of last stream, and there's a lot of exposition, a lot of talking, and now we're, I think, set to start exploring and talking to folks. And there's a mysterious sleeplessness malady going around that we're going to poke our nose into, and we're looking for some missing people. I'm probably forgetting some other things. But I should probably get the game loading up because that takes a little while. And we have some several of our party members have connections to people in this place. So we are hopefully going to get some good I guess companion quest type shenanigans going on. That's my hope. So yeah. Settle in. Let's do this. Let me know how sound and video are. And we're still using the new Elgato mic, which I'm liking so far. I did order a mic arm. I'm not crazy about the whole aesthetic of having the mic in the shot. I know that's just kind of a personal preference thing, but I think I want the improved sound quality more than I want the mic not in screen or on screen. So, yeah, I think that's everything. Today we have a tension tamer tea we're going to be drinking, which will hopefully keep my voice nice and robust for this stream. So yeah, let's get going. Let's do it. We spent a ton of time talking to this Mel person, and yeah, otherwise we're just gonna walk all over this place because we have not done any exploring here. And actually, you can see here, this is the whole map, so it's a pretty good sized area, I think. Maybe about the size or slightly bigger than Luthian's Crossing. I'm not sure. So let's get to it. The premise seems to be that there are people kind of hiding out in these forbidden ruins, and there are factions among them. And I don't really know, like, these people aren't really supposed to be here. Like, since we're working for the Overlord and the Overlord has forbidden being in these ruins, I'm curious what kind of options we're gonna have. Like, can we just murder everybody in this colony? By the time this is over? I don't know. So yeah, let's talk to this merchant here. Hey, Binder, gracious, did you come for, or go and speak to Master Jaspos? He's northeast of here in the forge. Yeah, let's make sure we know what our actual journals quests are. We're helping Lantry find chronicles. Okay. Then we need to speak with Jaspos, Master of Napping, and Tidecaster Wagstaff. And Ebb in our party, she knows Wagstaff, so that'll be interesting. This is an old side quest where we missed an item, so maybe we should go back and do that at some point. I mean, I don't know. Not sure what it'll matter exactly, but... Alright, so this merchant doesn't have much to say, so... What's in here? I would not have known that was a door. Oh, people are, like, living here. Please speak to Master Jaspos before pronouncing any verdicts. Alright, so I think I need to go talk to those two people that are in my quest log before I can really do anything else. That's what this sounds like. I couldn't talk to that merchant. I can't talk to these people here, so it's going to be kind of talk to the faction heads before you can do anything meaningful, I suppose. So, yeah, let's try to do that. Northeast of here, I believe they said. Yeah, we got some
Well, they
basement.
have water. Well, it'll...
Heavy leather helm.
Sunlight? A shame the neighbors are floating abominations.
So yeah, this area looks like it's underground. The game has told us that there is in fact sunlight shining down, but you would never know if the game didn't tell you. Cool. I don't really have a plan here. Looks like we're just seeing refugees from all kinds of different factions, is what this kind of looks like to me. Like, these guys, I'm pretty sure, are like Scarlet Chorus people. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like we're in an area where maybe there's a bunch of different people all kind of hanging out together, despite their differences. A weary-looking man observes you through dark, sunken eyes, nodding faintly as you approach. Baybinder, greetings to you. Though unkempt and draped in disheveled rags, he bows deeply in the style of northern tiersman nobility. You observe that his right arm is emaciated and frail, seemingly rooted in place. Rostrum Link, son of the late Rostrum Bolus. I saw you in the bastard city shortly after Tunon's arrival. We've come a long way from then, haven't we? He chuckles mirthlessly at the memory. You'll want to speak to Wagstaff or Jaspos before you get too settled in. The former is down by the falls, the latter in his forge up north of the hall. The falls. So maybe up here, perhaps? Let's go that way.
Unless I'm mistaken, these markings suggest multiple tribes cohabitating, and in such proximity to humans. Intriguing.
He's referring to these beast people here. We kind of killed some multicolored beast folk when we entered this area, so can't wait for that to bite me in the butt. I like this music quite a bit. So what are you? Let's quick save before we click on this random glowing item. Oh. Where are we going? We're in kind of a whole new zone, it looks like.
Think I found something.
Juggernaut Razor Scout, interesting. I have a man named Tycho down here.
Water runs sterile. Little sunlight. Yet beasts and humans have coaxed plant from seed and soil. Is mystic trick?
Interesting. That's a good question. And it speaks to the attention to detail that this game has continually had. Chard, nashroot, charlock, and tubers all flourish in this noisome soil despite growing deep within the old walls. There's someone named Lunette. Platos. We have some glowy mushrooms. Little looks appealing about these rubbery, dung-scented mushrooms, yet the settlers of the wound care for them as if they were the finest fruit. Oh, here we go.
Smells.
Some random heavy armor.
Strange.
We probably don't need to be here yet, but... mind me, just taking all your stuff. The beast person named Ocean's Fury. Faint illumination from the sky above limbs the jagged edges of the fractured old walls overhead. Far below, you can make out the flickering dots of torchlight marking the wound community. I'm really digging this music. I know it's kind of just ambient, but it's much more noticeable than most of the game's previous music, I'll say. Wow, all kinds of stuff just laying around. Alright, let's keep trying to find Master Wagstaff. While they wouldn't weather a strong gale, these tents seem stable enough to offer some privacy to the denizens of the wound. Cots, bedrolls, and woolen blankets lie within. Moonstone.
A forge bound in the old walls? Seems a nerve-wracking place to work.
Sorry, I can't.
Ah, okay. I think over here is where Wagstaff is. No. I am in fact completely wrong. Jaspos, Master of Napping. Well, he was the other person we were looking for, so let's say hi. Let's also quick save before we do. I have no idea what this person's whole deal is. I've noticed, so you see this paragraph of text here, I've noticed that in this expansion that conversations and exposition are noticeably wordier than the main game, so we have much more reading to do. A heavily muscled man stands next to a mixed pile of broken floor tiles and smashed boulders. Head bent in focus, sledgehammer gripped tightly in both hands. Without breaking his gaze, he calmly extends an arm out as you approach, signaling for you to wait. In one smooth motion, he whirls the sledgehammer in a precise arc, effortlessly splitting a large green-gray boulder in two. He smiles and lets out a pleased chuckle before turning to greet you. Ah, Fatebinder, or should I say Governor. That explains all the ruckus I've been hearing. Right. We were the governor of Lethian's Crossing. That's what he's referring to there. His voice is deep, a confident baritone that easily carries through the open air. Forgive my rudeness, masters of the craft rarely break focus if we can help it. Old habit. He smiles broadly, motioning you to come forward. Your arrival is unexpected, but my forge is always open to servants of the court. What can I do for you? Quite a friendly welcome, I gotta say. I'm Jaspos, Master of Napping, and this settlement is called the Bastard's Wound. I expect you're looking for its leader. No doubt someone pointed you in my direction. Okay. So all of our responses here boil down to you're breaking the law, and we need to discuss that and figure out what we're going to do about this situation. So I guess the question is which one of these responses do we want to go with? I'm leaning towards 2 or 3. We are loyal to the Overlord, after all, so we're not necessarily looking to be like all buddy-buddy with everyone. We'll go with number 3. The legality of this place must be determined by a Fatebinder. Then we're lucky to have you here, Fatebinder. I can assure you that I would never do or advise anything that works against Kairos' will. The wound is a complicated place. Many came before me, and I've done my part to steer things correctly. As I'm sure you know, that's not always an easy task. There's another man here that unfortunately holds some sway. Wagstaff, a tidecaster. Possibly the last tidecaster, from what I understand. He crosses his arms, his muscles tensing reflexively. He practically founded this place years ago, and, truth be told, he's the one responsible for its creation, legal or not. We don't always see eye to eye, but I did trust that his decision was respectful of the Overlord's will. It's quite a lot of trust, but okay. Oop. A dull crash interrupts the exchange. A forge helper, hands still trembling, hastily attempts to gather up the pieces of a dropped bowl. Nearby, several onlookers have gathered to observe the meeting and whisper nervously amongst themselves. This is a meeting worth spying on, I guess, by the townsfolk. Nobody wants to get judged harshly by the Fatebinder and the Overlord, so forgive them, Fatebinder. They're understandably anxious. As you know, men and women live and die by your words. These people here, all of us, in fact, are wondering what your intentions are for this settlement. So, response number one, for now, this settlement may continue to operate independently. I don't think I want to do that, at least not yet. Not without knowing more about this town and place and people. Number three is, well, we're going to kill you all, so I don't want to do that. I think we're going to go number two. This settlement stretches the interpretation of Kairos' laws. To justify its existence, the wound must provide material support for the court. Does this mean support as in support your case, or support as in provide goods and services? That kind of thing. Because I'm remembering now that merchants must be licensed by the Overlord. Nobody can sell without a license. So I'm sure these people are certainly breaking that rule. I guess, maybe. So yeah, we'll go with number two. Party has gained 3,700 rings. What the? Oh. See, okay, this is this is the second time I've chosen a dialogue option where apparently I was asking to be bribed, maybe? I don't know. It's a little gray in my eyes, but that's not. This guy just gave us a ton of money, and that's not what I was expecting to have happen. And this is the second time now that this exact thing has, in fact, happened to me. So he nods slowly at first, then forcefully. Yes, yes, you are right. We can, and we will. There is much that we can achieve here, and I have many ideas on how we can move forward to meet the court's demands. Consider this my first tithe to the court. If we continue to prosper, perhaps there might be more. Jaspos unhooks his purse from his belt and, without separating the rings, hands you the whole thing. Excited whispers can be heard behind you as onlookers take in the news with visible relief. A few settlers quickly escape towards different corners of the settlement, spreading word to the anxious. Again, I've said it before, I love that the text here really fleshes out what's happening for you in a way that the game's graphics can't really portray. It really is a really nice mix of novel and video game, in my opinion. We aren't rich in material wealth, but the wound has incredible potential. Between the ruins above and the depths below, there are treasures to mine that we can deliver to you. It will take some effort, but with your assistance, we can deliver on that promise. On that note, if you've the time, I have a matter that could benefit from your expertise. Okay. You may ask, but I make no promises. We don't have the luxury of trading with the top side. It could attract the wrong kinds of attention. Instead, we craft what we need. In my case, I can make a wide variety of tools, but I can't make everything. When we were building the forges of Lethian's Crossing, I had access to some of the finest chisels, tappers, and abrasives. I carried only my travel kit with me when I found myself here in the wound. I've been only to craft a few replacements, but to my chagrin, I haven't recaptured the craftsmanship. The napping tools needed are rather specialized, and I lose sleep knowing I can't replace anything I break. Since I've been missing, I imagine my tools were appropriated by my colleagues in Lethian's Crossing. Lahara will no doubt know of their whereabouts. With my old tools, I can really stay on top of the work that's needed to keep this place running. I will consider it. Let's not make any promises, but of course I'm leaning towards helping him, but we'll consider it. I understand, Fatebinder. Your time is important. Was there something else you needed? All right, lots of questions here. What do you do here as one of the wound's leaders? I don't look the part, I know. Most of my guild huddle by the heat of their forges and stick to themselves. Here, I think of my forge more as a hearth. Everyone is invited to share in its warmth. In a practiced motion, he unfastens a rag looped around his belt and wipes off trace amounts of sweat from his already spotless brow. Perhaps that's better? Obviously, I work the forge. In a place like this, that means everything. Those bridges you see? My handiwork. The knives and weapons everyone's carrying? They came from my forge. The nails holding our containers together and keeping our shelters upright? Mine again. But most importantly, I created these stone sieves to clean the water. He pats one of the open stone receptacles, pride evident in his voice. First of its kind, and none too soon. When I came here, many were sick with the withering rot. The disease is in the water. It's a terrible way to go, but these sieves change things. How do the stone sieves work? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. He pauses for dramatic effect. Except for members of the court. It's really a matter of using the right combination of enchanted stones, pulverized charcoal, and a few precious stones in a precise arrangement. These materials act as the sieve in these containers. He points towards the base of one of them, drawing your attention to water dripping out of a small opening and into a collecting bowl. Anything that comes out of there is free of the disease. Interesting. Now, this place isn't exactly bursting with precious stones, so I had to devise a substitute. Basemen, claws, and teeth, when properly prepared, have the properties I need. Since they regrow over time, I've been able to collect donations from our many warriors. I do prefer using stone whenever possible, though. Weird. Claws and teeth are a replacement for precious stones. That's interesting. So generally speaking, what does a master of napping do? Ah, and I shall tell you. He places a hand upon his belt and runs his finger across the many hammers, chisels, and picks draped across his waist, stopping at a simple stone hammer. Masters of napping focus on the fundamentals of all forge work. Before you can make bronze and iron, you need a hot fire in a controlled space. You need a stone forge. He grips his belt firmly, puffing out his chest slightly as he speaks. Give me a few days, and I can take a pile of rocks and fashion proper stone hammers and tools. Give me a few weeks, and I can use those tools to build a worthy forge. And with that forge, I can create anything you'd ever need. Stonework is the purest form of our craft. Civilization could be reduced to ashes, and a master of napping would be the one to reforge it. The guy's proud of himself, not unjustifiably. Just a well-written character, I guess. Tell me about the Tidecaster Wagstaff. You should know that Wagstaff and I aren't on the best terms. He's old and set in his ways. I've tried, believe me. I've reached out, invited him to share my fire and talk like men. But he's the sort that prefers his own company and ideas. He doesn't seem to care about people the way I do. In fact, I think he views us as irritants one must endure. That sounds like the Wagstaff I remember. Apologies for what you must be going through. He sighs loudly, shaking his head with an exasperated smile. He does help with the wound, I'll grant him that, cleansing water with his magic. His methods are different than mine, of course. Far slower. He thinks his contributions are more valuable since they can combat disease. A valuable tool, for certain. But without the volume of water produced from my stone sieves, this settlement would die in a span. In the end, he just refuses to accept that his role has changed. He helped the wound get its bearings years ago, but being the first does not make one qualified to lead. He hates that people have responded to me and has been blinded by that. What do you know about Reef Talon? Reef Talon, I think, is the leader of the beast people who has gone missing, I want to say. He holds a bowl of crushed rock aloft, squinting to examine its contents as he speaks. So you've heard. It's unfortunate what happened to her. Reef Talon arrived a year after I did. Massive creature, one of the largest beasts I've ever seen. She never spoke of her past much, but we knew she was in flight when she stumbled upon the wound with her cubs. He pulls a fragment out of the bowl, running it slowly between his fingers. Whatever she fled from, it didn't stop her from devouring the bane. She was good at it, good enough to lead the beastmen. But Reef Talon had something else far more important. She could heal others with a mere touch. It didn't matter if you had been raked by the bane or fell on your own sword, she could close up your wounds and send you on your way like nothing ever happened. Okay, number one, that is no ordinary magic. How did she do this? I don't think she knew herself. She wasn't a student of her craft, not even using beastmen mystics as a standard. What I do here, that's not an accident. It's years of controlled study and meticulous perfection. Reef Talon simply acted on instinct, and that didn't work to anyone's benefit. Oh, right. Anyone she healed lost the ability to sleep. That's kind of the issue here. With a dissatisfied shake of the head, he flicks the unwanted chip into the water. Sometimes we're better off without such miracles. Those Reef Talon healed slowly became sick. It was impossible for them to sleep, even when exhausted, and the relentless waking drove them mad. The affliction takes a while to fully take hold, but the end result is always the same. Even worse, those bestowed with magic slowly lose their gifts. He looks toward the forge, a pained expression visible on his face. Now they're just known as the Sleepless. All of their life and vitality robbed and spent. A terrible end, Fatebinder. Reef Talon couldn't face her mistakes, and she fled into the old walls like a coward. He circles around the platform, speaking as much to passers-by as with you. And to think, many here saw her as a leader. What leader runs in the face of adversity? Dantalos, hey, welcome. We're just getting started. I don't think you've missed much. I did a little bit of exploring, realized I couldn't talk to anybody until I talked to the two, I guess, faction leaders here. So that's what I'm doing now. Those of us that remain, we are the ones that continue to hold up Bastard's wound. I toil every day to keep the fires of my forge running, and the people can see who they can truly rely upon. Nearby onlookers shout and pump their fists in support, eliciting a raised fist from the forge-bound master in return. So I haven't talked to the Tidecaster guy yet. He's next, I guess. But I'm looking forward to bringing her to him. So it's all right. Yeah, I just talked to. I'm just talking to Jaspos here, and then I'll go find Wagstaff. How do you deal with Bane? In case you haven't noticed, the beastmen with us aren't your common feral savages. Something about this place focuses them, whether they come as our workers or on their own. They all eventually become fixated on the Bane. I've seen some hunched over, guarding our portals for hours. If any Bane come through, they'd savage them instantly. But apart from the Bane, our beastmen aren't violent. Strange, but welcome. Let them argue has one of my favorite lines. Alright, cool. I will look forward to it. You mentioned needing assistance with something. Oh, right. Okay, we did this. Alright, I'll speak with Lohara. I'm sure this will be a simple matter for you, Fatebinder. Thank you for your assistance. Safe journeys, Fatebinder. So he just asked us to go to Lethian's Crossing to get some tools, I guess. So apparently, let me see here. I guess I completed the quest to decide what to do with Lethian's Crossing, I guess. Or not Lethian's Crossing, with Bastard's Wound. I didn't quite realize we had made that choice yet, but that's alright. Alright, let's walk down here and try to find this Wagstaff person. I'm looking at the mini-map, and I think I know where I need to go, actually. We'll grab loot on the way, as always. Oh my. That's interesting. The heavy odors of musk and urine loiter around these matted straw nests, making their proximity to the sleeping tents to the west all the more surprising. Gross. Okay. See a star on the minimap, so that's where I am heading to. Okay, something's happening. Wow. Okay, so we were told that the beastmen just completely wreck the Bane, but
Humans are wise to follow while beasts lead the hunt. Very wise.
we just saw that in action now. Alright, well, let's talk to Insipid Moniker here. Welcome to our little refuge, Fateminder. You're here to help us keep the wound clear of Bane? Insipid Moniker picks at a splotch of dried blood on her greaves. She wears the patchwork armor of a Scarlet Fury. Are the Bane constantly showing up like that? Welcome to our headache. The way the Bane come and go, you'd think the teleporters were beaded curtains. Lucky for us, the beasts seem to love killing Bane. They'll put in more hours on sentry duty than any human, and I welcome the extra sleep. So what's through that portal? That goes deeper into the untamed old walls. We send patrols out to sharpen the beast's claws and lighten the numbers of Bane, but we haven't exactly mapped it. How'd you get that name? Figured it was smarter to ask the voices for a name rather than let my gang boss do it. I figured wrong. I could have been shits for days or bleeding sores if I'd waited long enough. Even hindsight would be more appropriate. Nice. So what do you do here exactly? Whatever Wagstaff wants. Guess you can call me an apprentice. I can read, which is more than most can say. He's teaching you our ways. I'm sorry you have a fool for a teacher, but you have been given a great honor. Do not squander it. It's more subtle than the red work of the chorus, but I don't mind a change of pace. Yeah, I was wondering why, if she's a Scarlet Chorus person, why she's wearing blue. So the blue is to honor Wagstaff. Exactly. Fucker iced half my gang with his spells, so now I fight for him. Those are the rules. In a twisted way, I think the voices would approve. Not that his approval is any safer than his wrath. Interesting. Well, I'll be going now. And we have a little bit of loot here. Okay, maybe we're supposed to go down here. Just looking for stars on the minimap down here, so... Yeah, there's Insipid Moniker now. There's Wagstaff.
Smells of oceans here, not like other waters. Strange, like everything here.
Arranged at angles that recall the sigil of Gravelight, these crystals shimmer with the collected glow of what little radiance from Terratus' grave filters into these depths. I slightly inhaled my tea. Good times. Alright, let's save. And zoom in a little bit, too. A bearded, weathered figure stands by the pool's edge, eyes closed in concentration. His face, uncharitably weathered from years of sun and wind, is a collection of deep, intertwining creases, wreathed by a brittle-looking gray mane. One disapproving eye snaps open as you approach. Of all the shriveled barnacles to find, you... My Kyrus' swollen tit. You? What of Camberl? Hagravar? Don't tell me you're all that's left. Alright, well, we'll step back and let them talk. They fought the good fight, but fell to Cairn at the well. What's your excuse? How'd you slither your way here? They're dead? So the militants have fallen and you're all that's left? Fuck us all, Kairos really has won. And I didn't slither. It was more of a surreptitious crawl. Speaking of lowly vermin, what are you doing with this lowlife? Nice. Nice. Delightful. We'll remain silent. This one? She's with Kairos. It's sort of a long story. More importantly, what are you doing here? Not sure if my emphasis is on you or here. You think you and those salty old queens you so adored were the only casters unwilling to flee? You fools were just dumb enough to wave your arms until the Archons noticed you. Some of us, well, okay, one of us, still knows the ancient art of subtlety. We will continue to remain silent. Yes, and what's more subtle than... What is it you're doing here? Restarting civilization in the old walls? Did you travel the tiers looking for folks who wanted to commit suicide by Bane, but needed a group setting for that extra push to get it done? Harsh. Hardly. I came here to be left alone, but I'm just so damn charming and attractive, society found me and I didn't kick it out of bed. Don't belittle what we're doing down here. I don't visit you in your brothel, slap the dick out of your mouth, and tell you how to be you. Good. Oh, delightful. Oh, that's excellent. Need me to give you two a moment? A moment? Hardly. I can't think of the last time Wagstaff has kept up his banter for more than a minute or two. A hell of a line. It's a good line. Ever since you aged into that face of a worn tangerine, we've all had problems keeping things up around you. Speaking of improbable feats of tumescence, is that little Apex boy of yours still ramming your stern on the regular? Oh my. To remain silent further. Aldanos died of his wounds from the Battle of the Gates of Judgment. How about you? I can only assume half the reason you're here is to find some new apprentices and fuck them. That's what I'd do. Okay. Remain silent. Well, yes and no. Yes, with the apprentices, but I don't know, I just might stay here. We've stumbled upon something unusual here. Not sure how permanent a solution living here might be, but been trying to make the most of it. But your friend here changes things. The Tidecaster points at you with a scowl. We always knew outsiders would come, but short of Grave and Ash showing up, a Fatebinder is about as terrifying a notion as we've imagined. I hear you have already spoken with our other advocate, Jaspos, regarding the legality of this place. I wish you had spoken with me first, but if Jaspos convinced you to show us mercy, then perhaps I owe him a day without denigrating comments. Half day, maybe. Maybe. Who can say? Thank you, Fatebinder. I knew the day would come that we'd be discovered, and I imagined a much bloodier scenario. In this regard, I'm happy to be made a fool. Life here in the wound isn't easy, and we always assumed outsiders will bring death, not help. Your leniency is the sort of surprise we needed in these difficult times, and though I never would have guessed this, your arrival may be the sign of good things to come. Let me guess, you need my help. We normally avoid contact with the outside for fear of trouble following us back home, and with my duties here, leaving is out of the question. And yet, there are matters beyond this wall in need of a solution, and since I cannot leave this place to handle my own affairs, perhaps I can retain your services? Depends on what you have in mind. There's an old rival of mine still out there, a sage named Phoebe. He twists the rope on the end of his belt, grimacing. Yes, we're from rival schools. No, this isn't just a case of an unsettled score. I live and let live, but she poses an actual threat to the wound. She had knowledge of my plans to journey north to trace Karen's path in these mountains, which may expose us. She could bring a slew of homeless sages here, probably followed by a gaggle of spies. It's not worth the risk. She needs to die. His tone is matter of fact, almost casual. The problem is finding her. We had a mutual contact, Melita, who used to spend this time of year in Lethian's Crossing. If the two are still in touch, she'll be able to point you in the right direction. All of Bastard's wound would be in your debt, most of all me. Can I trust in your help? How do you know her? Over a decade ago, the School of Tides and the School of Ink and Quill tried, yet again, to discuss peace. She represented her school. I was forced to represent our end of this fruitless mediation. It was all a farce to get to know a few of us, figure out who should be spied upon. Several span later, some of my work was discovered by the sages. Fucking word thieves, every last one of them. Is this sage really such a threat? She's a risk to everyone living here. The woman hates me. Having dealings with her in the past was a mistake, and I'll be damned if I let that error ruin all that we've built here. Now that her school's in ruins, she'll view my accomplishments here as research to be appropriated. And while she's at it, she'll engineer a catastrophe for the wound just to spite me. So yes, Fateminder, I'm sure. I'm not going to kill someone before they've actually done anything. I understand the sentiment, but whether you believe it or not, that woman is a threat and will gladly bring attention to our existence if it serves her purposes. Moreover, she's likely to expose us without even trying. She could wind up consumed by the voices of Narat or followed here. I found this place. Why kill someone when the secret's already out? You don't give up patching a hole in the hull just because a new one opens. Look, I seem to be asking the wrong thing of the wrong person. I'm sorry this all sounds so monstrous. This loose end is mine to solve. I feel like I'll find her is a somewhat non-committal response. I don't know what the game will give me in terms of options with her, but I'll just say that. I'll find her. Thank you. This matter has haunted me for quite a while. If my stupidity caused the wound to be uncovered, best not to think of it. You've been unlike other servants of Kairos I've encountered. We're indebted to your patience and reason. One more thing, Fatebinder. If you do kill her, be sure to gather her belongings. Very important. That's the only way I can verify that you found the right sage. It would also... His words falter as he chokes up with a halting smile. It would also mean a great deal to see my old scrolls back, on the off chance she still carries them. It is a petty and vain request, but if you've been robbed before, you probably know the feeling. What else do you want of me? I mean, does he really just want this woman killed because she took his scrolls? Is that the motivation here? I'm suspicious. Okay, what do you do here as one of the leaders? He shakes his head. I'm the only true leader, as I've said before, but I won't belabor the point. He clears his throat. 3 years ago, I stumbled across these old walls and very quickly found I wasn't alone. A clutch of hungry and sick tearsmen had stumbled upon this enclave as well. I had come here to escape Kairos' forces, but I'm nothing if not driven by noblesse oblige. I decided I'd weigh anchor for a bit and help out. His staff dips into the pool at his feet, sending ripples across its surface. Water was both the problem and the solution. These refugees were surrounded by it, but couldn't drink it without picking up whatever old walls-induced disease lived within it. Withering rot, we call it. We'll let him continue. To a tidecaster, these are trivial matters. So as long as I'm here, making a solution to purify the waters is a simple matter. I make life here possible. It's difficult to burden, but I'm honored my talents are put to good use. Okay, tell me about the tidecasters. She didn't wax nostalgically already? With a nudge of his staff, the old man glares at Ebb. Apparently, my information is out of date. I sure thought I was the last of our school, but apparently I hadn't looked under the rock you've been calling home. We are the students of Occulted Jade, Archon of Tides. She was one of the founding pioneers of the Tiers, and her school has been the longest running institution of learning in the peninsula. Don't listen to what the sages say. Why didn't you leave with the others? I was one of the few to stay. And why not? This is my home. I don't care about Kyros's war or the slaughter sport of these archons, but I also wasn't about to sail west to die of starvation on the high seas. Promised lands are a lie. The ocean goes onward, or maybe you fall off the edge, or wrap around to the east coast of Teradus and land right in Kyros's lap. If I have to die, let it happen in my father's coast and my mother's land. So what have you been doing since the school's departure? I spent the first few span dealing with some unfinished business. A half-dozen sages had wronged some friends of mine, and I'll admit, vengeance occupied me for a time. When Kairos' forces came, I decided to stay far from the beaten path. I set out to the mountains to find privacy. This place was serendipity writ large. When others stumbled upon this place, it somehow shifted from hovel to home. I did not expect or ask for the responsibility of caring for these people, but now that I wear it, the mantle is comforting. What did you do in the school before the war? What was your title exactly? I don't think we ever had a ceremonial office for the instructor most dedicated to diddling the students. Holy shit. Oh, come off it. You enjoyed that privilege as much as I did. Everyone's a diddler in the School of Tides, I guess. Besides, they listen more closely if you make them feel special. Provost of Antiquities was the official title. My life's work was the curation of the school's past, the relics, the sermons of occulted shade, the life stories of Tidecasters' elders past. That sort of work. A fellow historian! I didn't realize the Tidecasters gave a care to the historical record. I wonder how your notes would compare to the chronicles of the sages. I'm sure I could fill in countless gaps in your accounting. The Tidecaster glares at Landry with contempt. Not surprised. A quiet hiss escapes Ebb as she turns to Landry. A sour expression flashed across her face. Lady Game God with the raid. 12 people. Holy shit, guys. Welcome on in. Let me do the shout out here, which I just got working, I think. Yeah, there we go. Everyone, go give Lady Game God a follow. She plays a ton of Nintendo games and other games of all sorts. And was just playing Call of Duty, Cold War. Which, how did that go? I didn't catch the end of it, but it sure looked like a Call of Duty game. Violent and grim. Yeah, welcome everybody. We're doing a lot of talking and reading, getting some quests to do, so it's a lady lore raid. Oh shit, I think I need to make like a custom command for that. I don't even know what it'll do, but a lady lore raid just sounds perfect. Was that the latest COD game or some oldish one? It had explosions and pew-pews. Yeah, that's Call of Duty game. Yeah, I've completely lost track of what the most recent Call of Duty is. All the essential bits. They were guns and explosions, so that's all you need. Cold War is the newest. Okay. I think the last one I played in its entirety was Modern Warfare 3. There might have been one after that, but that might have been it. Tea today is Celestial Seasonings Tension Tamer. It's good. It's just like the perfect way to like end the day, you know? Modern Warfare 1 for me. Oh, thanks for the follow, Fornado. That sounds provocative. I had not. I'm shocked that I didn't have the same thought prior to this, but now I do. It tames the tension. It's calming. That gets us up to 37 followers, right? So 13 to go for our goal of 50. And wink. Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to get to 50 followers. That's this month's goal, and we'll see where things go from there. This has been a rapidly intensifying hobby of mine, but I'm having a lot of fun. So I hope you guys stick around. So yeah, we're gonna keep reading and keep finding the lore as much as we can. You missed. I'll clip it. You missed a delightful little exchange earlier. Something about dicks being knocked out of mouths. I'll clip it for your guys' future entertainment. That's kind of a game this is being tonight. No, it was not about poop. It was about dicks. So, you know, just as good. Oh Lord. Ah, yes. Let the historical record note that Lantry takes the hint. Coughing nervously, the sage takes several steps back and falls silent. My personal interest has always been the fluid magics of our school. Most of the school embraces the mighty power of grave light. I almost can't blame them. For me, water, mist, ice, and fog have always been more immediate, more real, more worthy of understanding. It is a CRPG, Fornado. It's from Obsidian, so the guys who made Pillars of Eternity and Outer Worlds and um, so many other games, KOTOR 2. And if you've played like Baldur's Gate or Dragon Age, this is basically that style of game. Um, it's got, as you can see, it's got the top-down thing going on, and it's got the like real-time with pause combat. This game has a lot more text and reading than Dragon Age, at least I would say. I'm not sure about Baldur's Gate, but it's very novelistic, I would say. Um, I've heard, games like Planescape Torment have a lot of reading as well, but I haven't played that one yet. Hopefully, I will. But yeah, it's a fantasy ass RPG, but with all the text gives it a lot more detail and nuance. I think it almost feels like a visual novel at times. So I like it. I'm liking it quite a bit. Really good background kind of world building and stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff in your fantasy, I would definitely recommend this game. Reading is fine. I love playing through old CRPGs. Been trying out Pool of Radiance. Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard of Pool of Radiance. I don't think so. I'll make a note to check it out though. Is that like on Good Old Games or something like that? 1990. Wow. Gonna write that one down. Not really user friendly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's something I would play, but I would at least be interested to know more about it. There we go. Wrote that down in my daily disappointments notebook. Anyway, so yeah, if you like those styles of games, then I think you would like this one. I got it for free from Epic, and I got it for free from Amazon Prime, I think, at one point. So you might already own it. Check your library. So why didn't the Tidecasters stay and fight Kairos? If I may be so bold as to answer your question with a question, why do you think it was? Not many folks seem to know the truth, so I'm curious what one of Kairos' soldiers believe happened. Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale? Yeah, I played Baldur's Gate for the first time last year, I think. I didn't enjoy the gameplay, but I really liked just learning about the world and meeting the characters, of course. One day I'll play Baldur's Gate 2. I just don't know when. Joel, hey man. 1990 was a long time ago. I was younger than you are now, Lady Gamega. Back in the day. 1990 was second grade? Third? Something like that. Yeah, I've heard Icewind Dale was more of a like dungeon crawler, right? You weren't born yet. Oh shit. Kids. 91? Good lord. Baby game guy. That's right. Nice. Baby game guy. It's the year you started grad school. What did you go to school for, Joel? I'm forgetting what we were asked here in this dialogue. I think we were asked why we think the Tidecasters left. We can respond with rational self-interest, or maybe there's land to the west. Computer science, nice. Same. Only a handful of the Tidecasters stayed to fight. I can only assume cowardice was a school virtue. Well, we don't want to say that. I'm going to go with number 2. They knew something we don't. Perhaps the cartographers are wrong. Maybe there's land to the west. That was a lie. Many were told. None of our explorers ever found land out across the ocean. Yet Jade told many of the younger Tidecasters that an archipelago was out there, just waiting for us. So, tabbed out, saw Baby Game God in chat and thought, she's expecting since when? Well, we've collectively decided that Artyom Havoc is having a baby, despite all of his protests. So everybody's having a baby. Happy 2021. You're all pregnant. I'm pregnant. We're all pregnant. The truth is, our Archon lacked the will to resist. Scores of Tidecasters craved war, but lost heart at the notion of facing the enemy without occulted Jade leading the charge. So he's saying that the Tidecasters were, in fact, cowards. So, awkward. Enough. I don't wish to revel in the cowardice of the Tidecasters. I made my decision to stay. I'm not pretending I'm some brave hero, but at least I'm trying to hold on to some little port in the storm. Mother Nature be like, you get a baby, you get a baby. We all get babies. The old man clears his throat and taps his staff against the floor. Imagine having a baby. I'll have to stream entirely. Look, let's just stop streaming entirely. Love is in the air, everybody. Valentine's Day this weekend, just saying. All right, how do you purify this poisonous water? It's impossible to convey the intricacies, but suffice it to say that I must infuse water with Gravelight energy. This, combined with trace amounts of alcohol and beastman blood, counteracts the mortifying effects of the old walls of water. I see that look in your eye. Worry not. Beastmen willingly gift these vital fluids when they can. Just... Aw, poor Mr. Game Guy. So, this water is purified with a little bit of blood? That's one of the magic ingredients. And also, we've learned that the beastmen give their claws and teeth to help purify the water as well. This is interesting to me. Like, I feel like we're gonna learn something that maybe this is not a good idea. Gonna get you to a cute little baby barista, Abram. Aw. This is now the baby stream. The baby lore stream. Steve got one for one of his younger customers who turned 3. She freaked out. Oh. It's a tiring process, but it produces clean and restorative water. Jaspos's product is an amateur's imitation and will never sustain this place in the long run. That's why I've taken on Insipid Moniker as my apprentice, to safeguard this process. And unlike most, she knows just when to stay out of my way. Now, what should I know about Jaspos? Give me the gossip. His eyes glaze over at the mention of his rival's name. Ugh. If only that rock pounder would just shut up. He loves the sound of his own voice. He grips the roping on his waist, squeezing it with a clenched fist. Unfortunately, his forge is on the upper level, so his soliloquies flow down here to ensure my misery. This place has better acoustics than the Academy of Tides. Lucky me. He thinks because he can cleanse the water, not as well as I do, mind you, that he can pontificate at all hours of the day. I nearly drowned myself once rather than listen to one of his tirades, you know, but I knew the moment my body was discovered, he'd be raining down another righteous speech about cowardice down upon my corpse. That wouldn't do. Look, I'll say it plain. Jaspos has a big mouth and he talks incessantly about transforming Bastard's wound into something great. But the truth is, he's just out for himself. He slams his staff into the ground, mouth quivering as he speaks. I built this place from nothing, and he thinks he can come in and claim it when the hard work has already been done? Not on my watch. I heard a beast woman here once held sway. He cocks an eyebrow. Ah, Reef Talon. Curious case, that one. She pawed her way into these caves a year ago with her cubs. A vicious fighter, for certain. Bane of the Bane, I like to say. She took charge of the tribe, but had a curious way about her. The most fascinating beast I'd ever met. Oddly pensive, strangely polite, prone to bathing. That is odd for the beast women we've met so far. Speaks nonsense. Cowed and submissive by the sound of it. This Reef Talon sounds like mewling Bulwark, not proper alpha. Calm down, Kills and Shadow. Things really got unusual when, after a bloody dust-up with the Bane, Reef Talon healed some other members of the patrol with her touch. I can't say heal with a straight face. Those who had their wounds tended by Reef Talon felt spectacular for a few days, but by week's end, a whole host of new maladies overtook them. So Reef Talon was a mystic, you say? She claimed she wasn't, and I've never known a beast to downplay her strengths, but as sure as water's wet, she could mend wounds with a mere touch, so she must have had some training. Having seen what her healing did, hindsight tells me why she would be hesitant to discuss her mystic training. Perhaps trained by a fool for a mystic. Why else would Beastwoman hide such strengths? A true mystic wears power proudly, does not viper slither in obsequiousness. So what sort of problems happened to those who were healed? It started subtle, really. Folks treated by Reef Talon just slept a little less each night. At first claiming they felt too hale and hearty to sit in bed. Later, they'd be exhausted from days spent waking, yet unable to sleep. The old Tidecaster shifts his weight with a sigh. And after days of being sleepless, other things would start to go. Tempers, memories. Worst of all, a few who could work sigils lost the talent. I'm fading, need my old people sleep. Joel, sleep well. Take care, and I hope I'll see you soon. Okay, lady, I need the lore on why we call Joel Schnitzel. Because the other day I figured it out, but I was very confused until that point. I need the Schnitzel lore. And I can drink more tea while I'm waiting. Came in on an early lady stream. 4 viewers. Okay, nice. Okay. We'll get ladies' side of the story first, and then Joel, you can chime in and correct as needed. Thanksgiving. Same shit. Okay. I'm imagining all of this in your voice, by the way, so What are people making? I think if we ever have like a, in the after times, whenever those arrive, we'll all have to have like an East Coast meetup and swap stream stories. Oh, okay. All right. I do like schnitzel. So that just became his name? You just... Got it. Got it. So instead of Joel, you went with Schnitzel. I get it. Fuck that, you're Schnitzel. Okay. Love it. Love it. All right, I'm in the know now. It's pronounced Schnitzel. Okay. Perfect. All right, we will now refer to you as Schnitzel from now until the end of time. They're all silent. The consonants, the vowels, the syllables, they're all silent. Excellent. All right, well, I'm glad we went on this this little tangent together. She has my son doing it. God, that's amazing. Lady, you're influencing whole families now. I think we can call you an influencer at this point. If soon they'll be drinking your beer and eating your meals, and perhaps copying your hairstyle as well. Hell yeah. Behind your skincare. That's what you need. You need a skincare supported stream, you know? It's a little paid promotion. And then you can start your own line and then sell it. Coffee flavored beer. I mean, I do love a good, like, coffee stout, you know? Coffee and chocolate. See, Foyle's already copying your hair. Like, you've arrived. You've done it, basically. Just make it purple and you're good. Yeah, man. All right, let's read this video game. Imagine spending an afternoon listening to Jaspos droning on about the virtues of pulverizing stone. You'd be frustrated and exhausted, somewhat murderous in intent. But for some reason, you can't sleep. Night turns to day, which turns to night. We took to calling those affected the sleepless, and warned others of what became from those cured by reef talon. All right, lady, enjoy that pasta. I took a picture of the honey mustard chicken bake. I'll drop it in the Discord eventually. All right, Joel, have a great night, man. Schnitzel, I'm sorry, I'm calling you the wrong name. I'll get it, I promise. So what became of Reef Talon? A few span back, a patrol of disfavored were in the mountains, searching areas struck by Cairn's magic, so they said. Well, they stumbled on our refuge, and being disfavored, were shocked and appalled not just by our squatting in the old walls, but by the beastmen living with us. A few even deferred to Reef Talon during the parley, and seeing humans look to a beast woman was rather appalling to those iron thugs. The meeting quickly turned violent. We bested the disfavored, but Reef Talon fled during the altercation. I guess a combination of guilt from warping our fellows with magic, and the feeling of shame that her presence roused the disfavored to attack us. I have no proof, but I think Reef Talon fled to save us from her. There's plenty of folks who hate her, but I for one don't think her actions were ever malicious. Her Protecting this place is all she cares about, and she probably realized she had to go to save us all. Regardless of her specific motivation, I'm certain she fled deeper into the old walls, not topside. Someone claims she dove into the water, another claims she accessed a teleporter. Either way, she hasn't been into the village since the disfavored arrival. If anyone can survive the depths of the old walls alone, it's Reef Talon. That said, she's been gone a while now, and I'm not sure I'd wager money on her survival to date. So what happened to the Sleepless? When Reef Talon fled, almost all of the Sleepless went with her. Whether they chased her out of anger or fear of being deserted, I don't know. You might find a few here in the village, in the refuge, but most of them have taken their chances in the depths of the old walls. Isley, a woman whose life is already marred by the tragedy of wedlock to Jaspos, was the last person healed by Reef Talon. She's still cogent. Who knows how long that'll last, that poor woman. So when we talked to Jaspos, he made no mention of the fact that his wife is one of the Sleepless. I think that Mel person might have told us last time, but the Sleepless grow more detached from reason with each day spent waking. I half imagine most went into the old walls to find death at the talons of the Bane. If I lost the ability to rest, if my magic was taken from me, I'd probably do the same. Like, I love sleeping, but at the same time, you're always like, oh, I wish there was more time in the day. If I was magically unable to sleep, I would at least lean into it for a little while before I lost my mind. All right, that's all for now. Good. He closes his eyes and returns to his recitation. Okay, so now we have 2 quests to go to Lethian's Crossing. But now that we've talked to these 2 leaders, I'm guessing we can kind of talk to other people around the city. So I guess we'll do that. See what people have to say. We got the good music coming back in. I wonder if these merchants will now sell stuff to me. Fatebinder. The woman before the cart greets you evenly. She wears her graying hair pulled back high over fouled leathers, her narrow eyes emphasizing the dirty creases above her cheeks. There's not a lot of trade in the wound, and little of that in magical goods. If you need scribbles or mixtures gleaned from our forays into the old walls, I'm the one to ask. What can you tell me about Bastard's Wound? Not a bad little place to carve out a bit of life. Better than the war topside, anyway. Wagstaff started things, and he's been a capable hand on the rudder, if that makes sense. Real father-like, as if he's got a stake in it. That overpuffed bricklayer, Jaspos, on the other hand, he's just like every other shit come south with the conquest. Just looking for a way to bend the tears over and ram his poker up. She clears her throat. Got a bit away from myself there, I'll say. But, okay, so we know there's 2 factions here, I guess. I don't know if you'd really call them factions, but certainly there's 2 people kind of in charge, and it sounds like the people living here have also chosen who they prefer. I don't know if that's the same as choosing sides, but this is a video game, so that's probably what it'll boil down to, right? Like, a standard video game would make me, at some point, choose which of these leaders lives or dies, or whatever. So I'm curious if this will be the same, or if this game will have something a little more interesting at the end. You know that collecting and distributing forbidden lore from the old walls is as serious a crime as settling in them, right? Well, fucked either way, aren't I? She shrugs. Don't worry, Binder. I wouldn't go selling to someone who wasn't a court luminary like yourself. Alright, let's see what you have on offer. Sure thing, here's what we've scrounged up. So we have, what is this? Cerulean Scales. This is an accessory. Plus 15 shock damage and plus 15% shock damage on hit. And plus 15 shock damage on abilities and spells. Well, Lantry could certainly use that. Oh, that's expensive, though. What kind of junk do we have for sale? I'm probably going to say it every time this music track starts, but I love it. A little like tinkly piano, the just wondrous kind of sound to it. I really like it. So there's a sigil of lightning, sigil of distant impact, and sigil of precise action, which I think is like a boost to accuracy. So let me think here. If I got 2 of these, that would just wipe out all my money. Unless we start selling some of this gear. Which maybe we should. We've been holding on to it, sort of expecting it to be useful, and it just hasn't. So maybe we'll get rid of all this two-handed stuff, I'm thinking. And these shields aren't anything special. We've already kind of looked at them, right? Yeah, two-handed. This is a... Yeah, we don't want that. Oh, Tempest cannot be sold. Okay, fair enough. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Holy shit, we are suddenly about to have way more money than we have ever had before. Okay, well that's awesome. Alright, we'll just stop there. And maybe we can get rid of some of this heavy armor that I've kind of been holding on to, expecting it to be useful at some point, but just hasn't happened. Yeah, heavy armor, heavy armor. One nice thing I'll say about this game is that, as far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be like an item weight limit. You just keep picking up stuff. Game doesn't bother you about it. It leaves you to deal with the consequences of having all this crap, which is basically what we're doing right now. I don't know. I'm so tired of dealing with games that have like a carry limit. It's just not fun to deal with. It's kind of like the old like the older Diablos and ARPGs that like I don't care to do inventory Tetris anymore. Like it's just not interesting to me. So that's my hot take for the night, I guess. Okay, we are suddenly rich beyond our wildest dreams, so we are definitely gonna buy this thing now. And this. Uh I just need one. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Alright, let's get that thing to Lantry. What's he wearing right now? A parrying thing and +2 width. So yeah, we'll do that. And then we have a new... Oh, here we go. New sigil to learn. Great. Yeah, sigil of precise action. So we had precise action 1, now we have precise action 4, so we're doing pretty good. Alright, let's save after all that, and let's talk to Rostrum Lank here. Okay, so if I'm understanding these questions right, this guy is from the manor that was on the surface above this settlement. That was just ruins, I think. So let's find out his history. Tell me about yourself and Rostrum House. I think you're well acquainted with the manor and its grounds at this point. My father's legacy and my inheritance, reduced to rubble and ash. They call it the Shattered Bastion. He runs his fingers across his eyes, tracing the dark circles that ring them. Rostrum House is but a memory now. Prior to Kairos' arrival, we were a successful merchant family with routes that extended from Azure's capital to Arden's coasts. My father never married, but that didn't stop him from asserting control over these lands. Tearsman laws be damned. I'm all that remains of his 3 heirs. So, quick reminder, in this world, women own property, not men. So that's kind of why he's saying that didn't stop my father from asserting control over these lands. But what do you do here personally? Shouldn't you be leading this settlement? Is this a face worthy of leadership? He snorts, running his hands through unruly hair. No, I lack my father's ambition. I've seen where it leads. Besides, I have little to offer these folks beyond a memory of more optimistic days. He rubs a thick scar running down his arm. My father would be enraged if he saw me today, pacing the mushroom beds or leading swine to slaughter. This life may not be worth much, but it's something, at least. So how was Rostrum Manor destroyed? I suppose my father's optimism was to blame. Before the Overlord's forces even set foot in the bastard tier, my father invited Tearsmen of all persuasions into these walls to resist Kairos. Didn't matter who you were. Once the tier fell, Cairn arrived to make an example of my family. That monster sundered the whole damn mountain, along with my home. My family was killed by the very walls meant to protect them. I was the luckiest, merely pinned by the stone column I clutched as the floor heaved from Cairn's onslaught. His maimed arm quivers from some unknown exertion. Eventually, a single finger extends downward and points at his right leg, heavily scarred and bent at an unnatural angle. My fighting days are done, Fatebinder, even if I hate the Overlord more than ever. That's highly unusual for your father to claim land ownership. He didn't cleave to tradition. I'm sure that passing women the land and stuffing men aboard the ships made sense when our ancestors needed cleaner lines of inheritance. Men drown so women wear the crown, as they say. My father never set foot in water. Goes to show how you can overcome any eccentricity if your coffers are full of rings. They speak more persuasively than you or I ever could. All right, bye. So, what about this merchant? What are you selling? Greetings, Fatebinder. I think I speak for all of the Forgebound when I thank you for your graciousness in regard to our little community. We don't normally barter our weapons and armors, but for a personage such as yourself, I'll gladly make an exception. Would you care to browse our works? Yeah, let's see what you have on offer. A recipe for Colossus extract? Why do I feel like we already have that? Yeah, because I made some. Yeah, we don't need this. I don't think... Well... These are, like, really good weapons. But I am leaning towards not getting them for now. Plus 0.5% bonus damage for every 1% missing health. Yeah, I don't know. That could be good for Barrack, our tank guy, but not that excited for it, I guess. This shield looks like it would be good for Lantry. Maybe let's move it to the stash. And then... yeah, let's just drop that in his inventory. So... alright, let's get out of here. And, okay, as far as shield goes... oh, right, he's got this orange one. Lightweight, quick step. Compared to this one, which is higher endurance. Ignores armor and shield recovery penalties. Triggers after reaching under 25% health. And added spell damage. I think we might want to do this. Like, we're kind of turning him into a glass cannon a little bit. And that is a hilariously large shield for him, so... Okay. So as far as quests go, we have 2 quests to go to Lethian's Crossing. And we're looking for the Bastard's Wound Farm Chronicle, which is said to be in the farm area. Search the farm with Lantry present to find it. Alright, let's do that. We went to the farm area, but nothing popped up. But that's probably because we hadn't talked to those 2 dudes. So let's go do that while we're here and see what happens. Maybe let's talk to some folks and see if they've seen this chronicle. This woman's name is Tycho. Fatebinder, she bows deeply. Welcome to the Wounds Farm, the only source of food within the old walls. Bet you never imagined anything like this down here, did you? You look like you've got questions in need of answers. You run this farm? That I do. Have since shortly after we arrived here. I may have been a mercenary up top, but down here, I've developed into quite the farmhand, she chuckles. I turn the soil, haul up fertilizer, even sing to the plants. I've near grown to love this farm like it's my own child. Except, unlike a child, the farm feeds me. That's fair. So this farm feeds the whole community. Near enough. Gwyneth gathers some stuff from Topside on occasion, but most people get their food from here. We got a whole host of vegetables, and the mushrooms down here turned out to be tastier than anything grown in shit has any right to be. Got pigs, too, for the occasional feast day. Mmm, pasta. Sounds delicious. How have you prepared your pasta? Is it like tomato sauce? Is it a butter sauce? Like, give me the deets. Keep everything orderly and efficient. One slip up and we're talking months on tight rations at best. These crops can be real particular about the kind of water they like. Give them too much, too little, the wrong kind. Next thing you know, they're limp and brown. And it's that plant mom life. Is it normal for plants to be so picky about their water? Oh, sweet summer child. Well, every plant is different, but the water situation down here is real touchy. Jaspos's filters work for the topside plants, since it's more or less what they're used to. Those stone jugs of his get rid of whatever makes people sick while keeping in the nutrients my veggies need. Mr. Game God made it was a regular red sauce with herbs, turkey meatballs, and chicken sausage, and gluten-free pasta. That sounds amazing. And because I'm boring and basic, I never thought to combine 2 different meats in one pasta dish. So, like, turkey and chicken sausage sounds excellent. I'm gonna have to remember that next time we make pasta. Give that water to the mushrooms, though, and they stop glowing. Then they shrivel up. No good for anything. No idea why. I figure the topside nutrients kill them. Wagstaff's water is about as pure as it gets, though, and the mushrooms take to it just fine. Italian and Puerto Rican, nice. Best of some of the both Jesus Christ. The best of some of the both best worlds. Fuck. Anyway, moving on. Lunette. What do you have to say? Oh yeah, send me that recipe. Definitely. Howdy, Fatebinder. To be honest, I didn't expect a courtly type like you to show up in this pisshole. Would have thought you'd have better things to do than check up on a few wilting greens growing in beast shit. Okay, so the water is being purified by beastman blood. There are water sieves that use beastman claws and teeth to also purify it. And we've now just learned that the food is being fertilized by beastman manure. This is different, let's say. It seems too notable to be innocuous, I guess is what I'm thinking. What can I do for you? How did you end up in the wound? Came in, what, 2 years back? With the Freeblade Marauders. Been in the wound ever since. Who or what is a Freeblade Marauder? Nothing but the finest of the many fine mercenary groups out of the Free Cities. There's the Free Blades, the House of Broken Regents, a few others. Aren't the Bronze Brotherhood out of the Free Cities? The Brotherhood? Those fucking fucks can go fuck themselves. Especially that Ray Taman, Ratterman, whatever his fucking name is. What a huge cock, and crazy as a beast woman raised on batshit. One of these days he'll lose his head to one of his own people, you mark my fucking words. Turkey meatballs with sauteed kale over pearled couscous that has mascarpone cheese. Oh. The red sauce with capers and yellow raisins. I'll be honest, the capers and yellow raisins make me a little nervous, but everything else about it. Okay, sounds weird, but I swear it's delicious. All right, fair enough. I will believe you. Yeah, that all sounds really good. Good guess. I got to Ray Tommen first. Good riddance. Like I said, somebody was bound to do it. What do you do around the farm? Well, used to have patrol out in the ruins, keeping the entry free of any unwanted visitors with Hillstrider and her crew. About a year ago, though, my damn fool husband didn't pull out in time, and the wound found itself another mouth to feed. Oh, okay. Had a little babby. Of course, the worthless bastard went and got himself torn to pieces fighting Bane, so I'm up here tending crops and letting my sword arm go to waste so the kid doesn't grow up an orphan. She sighs. Don't get me wrong, he's a good kid for a babe. I'm just damn glad he's out of me. I would be too. It is the baby stream. Who knew? Tycho's got me on vegetable duty, which suits me just fine. Don't know if it's some post-pregnancy bullshit or something, but those creepy glowing mushrooms make me want to lose my lunch and dinner. She glances toward Tycho. She's been hovering more than usual as of late, like she thinks I'm slacking off. Alright, farewell. Alright, we're still looking for this chronicle. I haven't had couscous in a long time. Alright, Ocean Fury. Smooth blue fur frames this massive beast woman's flat face, her blunt snout wrinkling as she sniffs at you. Her skin, in those spots where you can see it, glistens, almost pearlescent. Her upper lip curls back to expose dagger-sharp teeth. I don't want a baby right now. I can barely take care of myself. Well, tonight, everybody gets a baby. We're all pregnant together. It is hump day, after all. I'm sorry. Human smells of flame mystic power, of singed fur soot and plumed smoke. She snorts. It looks small and frail like hairless whelp. One of my followers will be getting a baby. If we reach 50 followers, one of my followers will indeed be getting a baby. What is happening? The beast woman at your side rises to her full height, chest thrust forward, and snarls at Ocean's Fury. The manta-born beast woman knows not human who smells of Fatebinder. Alpha to kills in shadow. Can be forgiven for foolishness. Once. Fur bristling, Ocean's Fury glowers at kills in shadow. Shadowhunter calls human alpha? Then perhaps human strength smells true. Or Shadowhunter gone weak from time away from tribe. For what does human disturb Ocean Fury's prowling vigil? I've seen a lot of different beastmen here. How many tribes call the wound home? One and more than one. Like human tribes, but grown stronger in difference. One and more than one? What does that mean? One tribe called Woundkin hunts prey in Bastard's Wound. All beast women refer to Woundkin name. All did look to Reef Talon as Prima before Reef Talon left into Old Walls. What tribes did they belong to before they all became Woundkin? Ocean's Fury and Reef Talon are Manta-born, first among tribes. She draws herself up proudly and thumps a closed paw against her chest. Manta-born hunt seas as swift as sharks, range long coasts from stalwart to seed, rule ocean where humans bring no war. West Reavers have fur like rust, range northern lands highest tier. Not many days from Wound towards sunset, where humans fear tread, yep. She seems to consider the tribe. West Reavers best hunters in grasslands. Good hunters in mountains. She chucks lightly. Poor hunters in sea salt. Him. An error occurred. No data was returned. Well, let's see here. What is this disaster? We're all... Oh, no. Okay. Excellent. Let's listen. I don't want a baby right now. I can barely take care of myself. Well, tonight, everybody gets a baby. We're all pregnant together. It is hump day, after all. I'm sorry. Good. Thank you for that. Oh Jesus! No, I think it worked. It just I got a pop up in Streamlabs that said an error occurred. So, but we're good. Thank you. I think you are my first clip not from me. So congrats. You are the first. Thank you. My first host, my first clip. Amazing, Lady Game Guy. Stonestalkers small but roam in large packs. Strong mystics know the stone song of Earthblood. Good hunters in mountains. Not as good any other place. If I could give you the VIP badge, I would, but again, I need 50 followers for this. So that's the goal. Few others stalk with Woundkin, chases clouds and gloom of dawn Kidvana. Only few left. What do you mean by your prowling vigil? Ocean's fury prowls Wound Farm, hunts Bane with claws and fangs, drives away trespassers with growls and knuckles. She points out to the vast gulf to the north. Old walls split down center like lightning forked stump. Bane slip across gulf. Ocean's fury watches always. Alright, I'll be going now. She snorts and nods. I've only got one clip. Gave up asking people to clip stuff. People just want to watch and tell me what to do on stream. That's fair.
Can't do that.
Alright, we are looking still for this document, I guess? Okay, we haven't spoken to Kratos yet, I don't think. Seeing you approaching, he straightens up to seem a little taller. Wasn't expecting to see a fate binder down here. Name's Kratos, protector of the farm. He announces it like a title. You may have heard of me. Lantry skims through a few pages of notes. Not at all, actually. So, you need me for something? Despite his armor, you can tell that he flexes his muscles. Yeah, you can't predict the clip, right? You just gotta have that perfect moment. So, it'll come. It'll come one day. Eyes roaming him appreciatively, Ebb leans forward. I could think of some uses for him if you're at a loss. Oh my. My life is service, he winks. Oh my. This is a thirsty party, I gotta say. Tell me about yourself, Kratos, protector of the farm. Thunder born and raised. Didn't have much growing up, and the sea life wasn't for me. So I took up the blade. Been a warrior ever since. Ran with the House of Broken Regents before we ended up here. What is the House of Broken Regents? Surprised you haven't heard of us. We're the blessed bloody mercenary company out of the free cities. And don't let those motherless freeblade marauders tell you different. We're the only crew to have bested those stalwart bastards. Not that they'd ever admit it. The sour expression briefly mars his features. It's a matter of Sunder pride. The city fought a bloody war for independence, and the terms of the treaty gave Sunder its independence from Stalwart in return for the public declaration that Stalwart did not lose, so much as neither side won. And that's why I and other children of Sunder smirk a little at the name Unbroken. Artyom Havoc, welcome in, my friend. Just FYI, we are continuing the baby train, so we're all pregnant tonight. Congrats to all of us. Yeah. Lady's got the clip there. How do you protect the farm? It ain't obvious. I'm a fighter. A bloody good one, too. It's almost a shame to have me up here on the farm, so far from the Howling Bane. I do have a progress bar. It's almost a shame to have me up here so far from the Howling Bane. Do you want me to ask Tycho to reassign you? His eyes widen. That would be kind of you, but that would leave the farm underguarded. Maybe if it gets too bad down there, sure, but the beastmen seem to have it handled. Claw for claw, he swallows. Yep. Leave Bane to rip fending fangs and claws of Mantiborn and West Reavers. Let human of Broken House tribe wallow in own fear spore. It's harsh, Kills. It's harsh. Tycho has me looking after the mushrooms. She keeps a close eye on everything around here. A bit too close, if you ask me, and she's quick to remind me when I cock something up. Used the wrong water on the mushrooms once, and she up and decked me. Yeah, we got 9 viewers. We're doing pretty good on the viewers lately, so I'm excited. I'm hoping we can hit that affiliate upgrade here one of these days. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, I would have blocked it. He chops the air with an open palm, or dodged it. He jukes illustratively to the left. If I thought anything like that was coming. He clears his throat. Anyway, had a black eye for weeks. Not doing that again. No how, no way. I mean, I'm having fun doing this, and I'm at the point now where, like, I just want, like, the new toys to play with. Like channel points and badges and stuff. And once I get those toys to play with, I'm gonna be happy. So that's my current thought on the matter. So, girl, same. So yeah, I mean, I did just buy a nicer mic and stuff, so I'm leaning into it for now. All right, I must be going. He watches you go. Okay. Because he's having a baby. We gotta bring in those sweet Twitch ad deals. All right, so we are still. Oh, what have we here? Of course, the document that we're looking for is in a literal pigsty. That's, yeah. Let's click on this. Chronicle of the Sages. This chronicle was hidden here by Sage Lexime. Take the chronicle so Landry may study it further. Ah, the old conceals text in a big pile of pig shit trick. Classic. As Landry approaches the corner of the pen, a pile of hay and animal droppings vanishes, replaced by a stash of scrolls. Okay, so it was a magic illusionary pile of pig shit, to be clear. We've gone from dicks to poop in this stream tonight, so we're doing well. Now here's a subject close to my heart: histories of the School of Ink and Quill. Who doesn't love a little auto chronicle? Roll calls, minutes, graduation announcements, publication dates, and letters. Oh my, I doubt Sages Corrin and Ostrich had any idea their correspondence would be immortalized for the records. Not the most exciting bit of history, but I could see why Mel and Lexime would want the words of colleagues close at hand. Landry thumbs through the tome, chuckling with a nostalgic smile at each turn of the page. I take it this brings back memories? Indeed. Some of these notes even have my name on them. Ah, yes, here's my series on bird anatomy. I did that back in 388? Where have the years gone? Do those notes include the parts where you conspire to steal our magic? Awkward. A slight cough escapes Landry's lips, but he offers no reply aside from turning pages. Well, do they? Well, of course they do. Landry pauses, his eyes stopping to read the text before him. Nope, they don't. This is about entrapping an old dolt from the schools of Wild Wrath. An enemy like the Tidecasters you fight without a written record. Think I'm flattered? Come closer, so I can show you my appreciation. Nice try, old hag. Lantry never makes the same mistake 8 times. What? Wait, what does this mean? I know it's all so worthless in hindsight, but it is a record of our school, whatever that's worth. I can obsess about these later. We have other things to do, right? Lantry closes the text and looks up with you. It looks up at you with a smile. Um, I'm suspicious of everything we find. No, I don't want to do that. Let's just do number one. We can pause. I'll look around while we have a read. How can I say no to that order? With a smug grin, the old sage dives into the texts. Several minutes pass as Lantry pores over the pages. Strange. All these names of dead people. Good riddance to some. Others, our loss. Kairos' loss. Let's pick up one of the volumes and peruse ourselves. In this regard, Lantry was correct. Countless sheafs of parchment, all of its social correspondences and academic text of plodding, boring detail. Let's use our subterfuge skill to look for writing that's out of place. You spot a page inked with a conspicuously glossy sheen, suggesting ink far fresher than the original writing. A minuscule crease along the binding hints at where this page was inserted, likely via magically means, to blend almost seamlessly. The text describes a debate between sages discussing the riddle of rings, and one sage, with the familiar name of Lantry, is arguing that the riddle of rings posits that Kairos has already conquered the Tears. For if the sages speak the language of Kairos, Lantry reasoned, and use the currency of Kairos, the military conquest is an extraneous formality. Let's read up on this riddle of rings here. Having spent a year with the Forge Bound as governor of Lethian's Crossing, you've been subjected to countless hours of banter from the artisan magi, and know the riddle as a sort of proverb the elder Forge Bound teach to their apprentices. Which melts first is the riddle of the rings. Novices often assume the common copper ring melts in a hot flame, the bronze ring in a hotter flame, and the lucrative iron ring melts in the hottest flame of all. But a trained Forge Bound knows otherwise. The riddle is generally mentioned when young apprentices ask too many questions about why others outside the guild seem, to the forge-bound at least, utterly incapable of appraising and respecting good craftsmanship. I still don't understand what the riddle is, but that's fine. Odd, I learned the riddle of rings differently. Bronze first, iron last. Oh, so you know the original. No disrespect to the forge-bound, it's a great teaching tool. I just borrowed the term for rhetorical effect that day. It was 4:25, and Sage Cavil was giving a lecture series, having recently returned from his expedition to observe the Forge-bound and their ways. At one point, he discussed their teaching methods, so the riddle of rings came up as a part of his lecture. At the time, I joked that the real riddle of rings is, aren't we already conquered? And I launched into a not entirely sober diatribe about Kairos' inevitable invasion and dominion. According to this, I gave a stirring speech met with applause. Hardly. I was hit in the head with an old scroll case and told to sit down, shut up, and let the scholars talk. If this is a false record, well, okay, you could correct the record. I could, and I will. I'll make a note to return to this. Until I know why this was edited as such, I just assume not to tamper with it. Okay. I think my nostalgia has been overtaxed for the time being. Let's get moving. I need to think on this a bit. Lantry closes the tome, stashing the old book in one of his satchels. Okay, so we found one chronicle, and now we need to find the remaining chronicles. Once you have gained access to the lower sections of the Bastard Wound Old Walls, continue your search. Okay. So, at this point, I think we need to return to Lethian's Crossing and do those quests. Because I assume we won't head to the lower part of the Old Walls until we do. So, let us head out of here. Okay. So I guess the next thing to do, let's see, run down here? Yeah. All right. Ah, okay, so we can warp directly here. We don't have to walk through that kind of cave complex. Okay, so we're going to Lethian's Crossing, which is here. And by here, I mean directly behind my camera. But yeah, okay. Lethian's Crossing. This one also takes... This looks like the Fire Nation, yeah. Yeah, and in this world, the Fire Nation is definitely winning, just like Avatar. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Alright, we are looking for Melita and Lahara. I know where Lahara is. I don't remember where Melita is. So we'll need to do some exploring. That's rough, buddy. Oh my god, that might be my favorite scene from Last Airbender. My girlfriend turned into the moon. And meme. Surely we can work in a cabbages reference here at some point. If only I could overturn these carts and send his stuff sprawling. My cabbages! If y'all haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, you need to get on that. Certainly one of the best animated series ever made, but way high up there in just overall list of best TV shows, period. Yeah, when he was in Korra, yeah, I loved how they turned that meme into, because didn't his descendants like create the weapons manufacturing or something? Like, it got dark. I remember. It was something crazy like that. Trade Federation, that's right. I need to rewatch Korra. It's been longer for me since I last saw Korra, but I really like Korra. I know not everybody did, but... Which was secretly holding war weapons, that's right. Okay, Lahara. We're looking for tools. How may I be of assistance? I'm looking for some napping tools on behalf of Jaspos. Don't tempt me, Sean. Like, don't tempt you to do a rewatch, because you should definitely rewatch. Yeah, I got the Last Airbender Blu-rays recently, and I haven't watched them yet, but I'm going to here soonish. And I really want to get the Korra Blu-ray as well. Korra is just, that is a gorgeous show, just gorgeous. So I'm sorry in advance if this makes you cry, but the part I always cry at in Avatar is Iroh and his son. The Tales from, that anthology episode with the little short stories. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he sings that song, oh my god. Yeah, that show is so good. Happy birthday! Oh, God. Oh, guys, watch The Last Airbender. It's really good. It's really good. I'm looking for some napping tools. Jaspos will help Jaspos. That'll help me get over this. Jaspos? None of us have heard from him in some time. He certainly did his part to create the forge here, but there's little else for a napper to do after setting the foundation. I'm quite certain he was ordered to return home. She grabs an iron ingot and holds it aloft. This, on the other hand, is the vanguard of our work. My tour of duty ends only when there are no more enemies for my iron to kill. Oh no! All right, hold on, Tornado. I'll get you. I just do that to kind of stop the bots in their tracks. So assuming that works, and assuming I spelled your name right. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and post. You have 30 seconds. Oh shit, did it? It deleted your whole message history? Alright, I'm gonna have to look into that. Relevant, confusing, out of context. Nice. I fucked up. Yeah, I did fuck up. This is... Wait, what is this?
Well now, since you come to mention it,
Okay, I need to get up to speed on this reference. I will do that after stream. Not the first channel. You know, it's late. Well, it's late for us, so we'll let it slide. About a dude who's pregnant. Okay, all right, excellent. I need to watch more Brit sketch comedies. I need more Monty Python in my life. So where did Jaspos end up? Also, side note, I'm noticing a lot of typos in this DLC content, which is a shame. I'm guessing they didn't have time to go through and clean everything up. So where did Jaspos end up? How honest do we want to be here? We can lie and say, I'm bound by duty and honor to get his things for him. I don't know. Let's just be honest. I don't really know what the impact is. I'm the fate binder, so what are people going to do, right? He's in a remote settlement in the mountains bordering the north, claims to be one of its founders. She scratches her chin, smearing soot across in short streaks. Well, that's odd. Kairos gives us leeway in our duties, but a several years' absence would be frowned upon. That settlement would have to be producing something valuable to excuse his detour. At least I hope so, for his sake. A smile creeps across her face, and she offers a half-hearted shrug. But he's not my ward, and not my concern. Still, it's good to know that he's alive. What did you know of Jaspos? Only the superficial, sadly. He worked in stone. I'm more keen on metal, so we rarely compared notes. I knew he was arrogant, confident beyond his years and talent. Not to say he was inept, far from it, but a few years of flaking chert does not make one Kairos' gift to the Forgebound. Does Jaspos have any associates still around? Once this place was built, most of the nappers were sent home. I know a supervisor was Cassandra, master of napping. She was sent home as well. She's a bit on in years, not quite fit for the long walk back, so I think she's currently enjoying a boat ride home. Did the stone nappers leave behind any of their tools? If so, where might I find them? I have no idea what inventory the stonesmiths kept with them. All of our stone workers left some time ago. A few of them meant to return north by ocean travel, which meant first traveling to the southern coastline. I'd imagine they're probably gone by now, but if you need those tools, I can't imagine they have room on the galley to take all their sledgehammers. If I were you, I'd ask around for Cassandra, or, since she's likely on a boat home right now, see if some local was drafted to attend to her or haul her stuff. Maybe they inherited some of her excess belongings she couldn't take on the boat. South Haven is now unlocked. Okay. Aside from that, I suppose in the abstract I could have someone cast a few chisels and hammers, but if you're looking for tools made by and for the stone experts, I think South Haven is your best bet, short of slugging it back to Fort Resolution. Okay. So we're going to a new town to continue this quest. So now we need to find Melita. Let's see if the journal has any more info on finding this woman. I'm afraid we're just gonna have to wander around aimlessly until we find her, but let's see. Let's see here once this gets going. What am I doing? Holy shit, wrong button. Okay. Woman named Melita. He's asked you to kill Sage. Phoebe currently resides. Okay. Just talk to Melita and Lethian's Crossing, so no other info besides that. I'm half wondering if Melita is, like, in the brothel or something. Oh, found her. Great. A slender woman picks through produce in a carried sack. Her hands appear focused on finding a particular piece of fruit, but her eyes are intent on the other shoppers in the marketplace below. A man passes by her, accidentally dropping a pouch as he goes. She bends down to retrieve it and hands it back to him. Careful, you almost lost this. He takes the pouch with a blushing smile and promptly walks away, clutching the pouch close to his side. The woman spots your approach as the man walks away. Greetings, how may I be of service? Clever, I almost didn't see you palm those rings into that pouch. Almost. I didn't realize I had an audience. Must be a sign I'm slowing down after all these years. Don't worry, nothing underhanded, just trying to repay a debt on the quiet. Certainly someone such as yourself understands the need for discretion. I'm not interested in causing any troubles, but I do need you to answer some questions of mine. Oh, this? Her hands briefly vanish into the folds of her skirt, only to reappear with the pouch in question. Scraps of parchment. I meant to deliver this to the court after acquiring it from a traveling sage. It may be magical in nature, or contain knowledge forbidden by Kairos. Please, take it. I'm only happy to do my part. She steps back and observes you, continuing to maintain an air of pleasant attentiveness. Is there anything else I can do for you? She looks at you with a nervous smile. Just what are you here to peddle? I used to specialize in written things, but the schools are gone, and so are most of my clients. These days, I mostly deal in wineskins, shoes, and lamp oil. Nothing glamorous, but what else do people need during times such as these? Melita, I presume. You must be the peddler my friend mentioned. Yes, that's me, but while I'm in town, Xantha will suffice. In my line of work, discretion is lesson number one, although it seems someone else failed in their discretion, else you wouldn't be here. So, Wagstaff sent me to find you. FYI. Did he now? I suppose he needs a reminder in our code of confidentiality. If I may ask, how and where did you run into Wagstaff? You gripe about confidentiality and then ask where he is? Come on. Can't fault me for trying. Okay, I like that. I like that little exchange there. I need to find Phoebe. Well, the fact that I know her, that's free. Current information costs extra, and information on friends costs extra. So this isn't the kind of question I'm comfortable asking. Well, look, I'm kind of a big deal in Lethian's Crossing, so ask around town if you don't believe me. I can't buy grain with noble sentiments, but if a fate binder is asking, I can find it in me to be forthcoming. Thank you. Thank you, Melita. These quests are paying off. Phoebe sends me the occasional missive. Last I heard from her, she's doubled back toward the burning library. She's got herself the dangerous notion that she can recover scripts from her old home. Though I think she's avoiding the actual library, seeing as it's the epicenter of the devastation. She mentioned a place called Phlogiston. I think she means the village that used to be called Babbling Springs before the war, out in the contested lands. And that's as much as I know about where to find her. If you can't find her there, maybe she's taking her chances at the library itself. Alright, that's all I need. Alright, so we're going to Phlogiston and some other place whose name I don't remember right this second. So these quests seem to just be about learning more info about the faction leaders in the Bastard's Wound. Get a little more world building, a little more exposition. Okay, so let's see here. So we can go to South Haven and Phlogiston near the giant volcano. Let's go to South Haven first. See the sights. You leave camp one morning to empty your bowels when you feel a palpable sense of power in the air. Your skin tingles, prickling into goosebumps as the hair on your arms stand on end. You go rigid, momentarily forgetting about the pressure in your lower organs, and listen carefully. Soon enough, you soon make out the crackling electric sounds of wisps, some of the smallest and least consequential bane. Yet you know that wherever the wisps congregate, other, larger bane are likely to lurk as well. You weigh the decision to investigate or to ignore the bane and carry on with your travels. We're definitely going to pursue the bane. Let's get some combat in on this stream, right? Traveling to the old walls requires ascending a series of steep inclines. You haul yourself up, hand over hand, and find yourself on a ledge overlooking the vast expanse of the tier below you with the aged structure of the old walls before you. You have no time to enjoy the impressive scenery, however, as the wind takes on a bitterly cold bite. You share this narrow strip of land with the swirling, mystical malice of the Bane. It all comes down to bowels at the end of the day, really. Or the beginning of the day, depending on how regular you are. No judgment. Alright, time to beat up some demons, I guess. Quick save. I guess we'll just walk forward and see what happens. Ah, found him. Alright, so this is one of the scarier ones. This is a malice. So let's sneak.
On the lookout.
See if there are any more. There are, in fact, more. We have a wisp. We have a scourge.
Oh, it's a tough job being so remarkable.
Oh, we just got a level up. That's kind of cool.
I'll be filling that one.
Oh, wow. Landry. What? Landry. What's going on? Alright. Guess we need to actually play this correctly. Alright. Why don't you, steal some life from those folks.
Right.
Alright, let's get with the... Oh, Lantry almost bought it there. Let's have him drink a potion. Okay. Okay, we healed him up, like, right away, so... that was a close one, though.
Will do.
Okay, everybody's just kind of doing their own thing.
If I had kids, they'd be feeling that one.
Okay, what do we got here? Undying. Oh yeah, we got our cool banner we can put down that'll kind of give some AoE heals, which apparently we need. Oh, Landry's dead again. Holy shit. Alright. Well, we're going to command him to revive.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And let's focus on this little guy down here if we can. Okay, now we can focus on the big boy here. Let's see. Let's do one of our cool new combos. Skyblade. The Fate Binder is launched into the air and comes crashing down. Let's do it.
Ready?
Wow. Awesome. Okay. I don't think we're gonna have too much trouble here. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah, the lightning. I love all the magic in this game. It looks really cool, but the lightning. First time I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is what I'm here for." Like, give me that craziness.
Will do. Right.
Okay, I think that's everything here. I don't think there's like a quest or anything. It's just we found some monsters and we killed them. So let's level up Ebb. What do we want to do here? Let's feel like, well, all right. Let's just do added accuracy. That sounds fine. And then as far as abilities go, what do we want to give her? Runic barrier. Yeah, let's just do that. More defense. And I think I want to camp to heal some of these wounds. All right, we did it. Curious how big this town is going to be. Well, it's nighttime, and my characters are in the worst possible position for this stream. There we go. Let's talk to Captaron here. Oh, the Fate Binder. A middle-aged man nods to you, clutching a small apple crate in one arm. A well-worn scrap of parchment pokes out of his bald fist, charcoal tally marks visible on its exposed surface. Well met, traveler. Sorry, I was counting these out for Hermod and didn't see you coming. Welcome to South Haven. You look just like the portrait. I mean, it's a flattering likeness, though you look more regal in person. I mean, Governor Iron Fist, it is an honor to meet a Fate Binder of your stature. As he awkwardly bows, several apples fall out of the crate and bounce out of his hands, rolling past your feet. Sorry. He sets the container down. Is there something I can do for you? Well, what do you do here, Captaron? Me? Oh, I'm not anyone important, Fatebinder. I never took to a particular trade, and I'm not a man of letters. I just help out where I can. He gestures toward the crates behind him. I count the produce for Hermod. He lets me take a few fruits when I'm done. This guy just hangs out. Like his job is to just hang out and help. So that's nice. His words are interrupted by a rhythmic clanging of hammers against metal. He turns to look at its source atop a nearby roof, exposing a gap-toothed grin as he speaks. And of course, the Forgebound always need fresh water, so I'll pump it for them from time to time. I'm sure Cassandra appreciates that. We are looking for Cassandra. I'm not familiar with South Haven. Tell me about it. I'm not sure what's really all that worthy of note. He scratches his chin, inadvertently smudging it with charcoal. We've got the river and the sea nearby, and live by what they bring us on the good seasons. Trade for what we don't when our luck dries up. If you're bored already, good. I think Kairos' forces were bored too and seemed to ignore us. Some recruiters from the chorus came in years past and rounded up some folks who were out in the fields. I think they took Toled's boy, and also the Corbett twins, but that was the worst of it. I've heard plenty of stories from elsewhere in the tiers. 3 folks gone, while a tragedy, is nothing compared to the suffering seen elsewhere. We are fortunate, no denying that. That's true. Even though we're allied with the Scarlet Chorus, their methods are brutal. How did this village end up staffed by Forgebound? Oh, their arrival was the biggest change we've experienced in a long time. It's been maybe 2 years? This guarded entourage came to town, and we all thought we were being invaded, but nope. Just a bunch of craftsmen booking passage out of the port south of here. When they arrived, they were all ill with fever and needed to rest. Since old Lyonis kicked off, we let the Forgebound use her house. We all assumed it'd be temporary, but either the ship they meant to board sank or they had a change of plans. A span later, the Forgebound were still here and making themselves at home. It didn't hurt that the villagers here were fascinated by their crafting magics. The youngsters in the village all lined up for lessons, and, Kairos be praised, they saw fit to tutor some of them. They've been awful helpful. Spears and arrowheads for our hunters, plows for the fields, fishhooks for the rivers, even a hearth or two for those cold nights. They also help keep us safe and stand watch over the town. If I were younger, I'd ask them to train me. You can find the Forge Bound just on the roof of the building behind me. Cassandra keeps her apprentices working late, but rarely stays up with them at this hour. She's up before first light, after all. I wonder if this game is actually going to make us rest so we can talk to the character that we're here for. Oh, actually, number 5. Wait until morning. I need a place to stay until morning. So before we do that, let's do, what do you know about Cassandra? She's incredible. She's no spring chick, but she can split a boulder better than any man in the village. You can tell her apprentices respect her just by the way they look at her. Everyone in the village feels the same way. If she speaks up, we take notice. So we probably shouldn't, kill her if things go south, is what that sounds like to me. Alright, wait until morning. Oh, of course, Fatebinder. Philia lets me stay in her son's old room. There's a cot there you can use. Come on. Bring on the daylight. Cool. Alright. Let's keep poking around. Merchant's Bracers. Okay, Cassandra is right up there where you guys can't see her. Up here. Or she was. Anyway, let's poke around here first. There's someone named Erasmus. A young man squints at the bottles in front of him. He picks them up, shakes them, and sets them down, dissatisfied after every examination. Was it fennel pollen or rhubarb root? He catches sight of you and stops his search. Hello, traveler. Something I can do for you? What are you looking for? My wife took fever recently, burning temples and an awful rash. She's a tough one, but I wanted to get her some medicine. I know that boiled silverthorn works well, but that's a few rings too many for me. There must be an alternate. Well, we can give him some money, or we can give him the knowledge he needs. Lore. Elderbark is what you want, sir. Almost as potent as silverthorn, but a lot more plentiful. You could probably buy it for a song. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Quite worried about my wife. These herbs will really help. Is there anything I can help you with? At least it's the least I can do. Hell yeah. I have questions about people in town, apparently. Of course. Thanks to you, I can spare a moment before getting these herbs back to my wife. What would you like to know? What do you think of the Forgebound? No qualms here. I was a bit nervous having them in town. Give the man a fish, that's right. That's right. Man is self-sufficient. I was a bit nervous about having them in town at first. You have to understand, we fared better than most during the conquest. Kairos' war raged on elsewhere, so none of his armies marched through South Haven. But who knew if the Forgebound would attract attention from the Archons or Brotherhood raiders? They proved me wrong. Nobody attacked the village after they arrived. When Cassandra isn't training them, the Forgebound help us out however they can. Can't say I'm a fan of the curfew they enforce, but it's a fair trade for their services. Curfew, interesting. Tell me about this curfew. Cassandra demanded it. I guess the Forgebound dealt with raiders on their journey here and don't ever want to be caught unawares again. It's a hassle, but I'd rather them here. Not like I need to be wandering around in the dark anyway. I don't quite follow why that needs a curfew, but whatever. So aside from a few folks, most of us stay indoors come the evening. Cassandra's apprentices then keep an eye out for intruders. After a full day's work, too. Theirs is not an easy trade. So maybe something nefarious is happening at night. If we're going to be cynical about this. Do you have any opinions about Cassandra? I have no issue with her. Truth be told, I've never really spoken to her. You can hear her barking orders at her apprentices at all hours of the day. I never felt comfortable interrupting their sessions, though I know some folks like Capteron help them out from time to time. Perhaps you should ask him? Tell me about Capteron. Capteron's been in South Haven for a long time. Everyone knows him. He's a simple man, but about as good-hearted as they come. My father grew up with him right here. Said he's always been kind. Capteron doesn't have a trade to speak of other than helping others. He'd probably go out to pick herbs for me if I ask him. He likes to stay near the village entrance to direct travelers most of the time. Since he's always assisting folks in the Forge Bound, he's one of the few that are allowed to wander about during evening curfew. He glances at the Forge Bound workers with a knowing smile. Of course, everyone knows that he's smitten by their leader. He finds every excuse to be close to the Forge Bound, and every excuse to avoid speaking with Cassandra. He's an old man with a child's heart. That's sweet. Farewell. Alright, let's grab some loot. And, well, alright, let's just fill this in here, just in case. Gotta fill in that map. Okay, nothing there, so let's go talk to this guy down here. By the name of Hyacinth. You see a tall figure with a patchwork sash of animal pelts slung across her shoulder. The skin on her sunburnt face melds with a pair of naturally flushed, freckled cheeks. She speaks energetically to two nearby villagers, animated in her depiction of a recent hunt. I had to crawl real low through the brush. Those critters have eyes like eagles, but are too deaf to hear their own farts. I got close enough to see its nose wriggling in the air. They can actually feel you coming that way, you know, but it was too late. One swift thrust later, it turned into dinner. She hears you approaching and spins around, spear held out playfully. Aha! Who goes there? Her laugh is hearty, but ends abruptly as she takes note of your appearance. Apologies, Fatebinder. I had no idea you were visiting us. Forgive the jest. I've been burdened with an overabundance of energy since childhood. One way or another, it comes out. She offers a purposefully awkward curtsy. What can I do for you? What can you tell me about the Forge Bound? Fine folk, as far as I'm concerned. Everyone around here is better off with them. Cassandra and her students keep me supplied with fresh spear tips and arrowheads, so my life's never been easier. They spend most of their time in training, though. I think that's the real reason they're here. Pass on secrets from master to pupil in a safe place. Cassandra's a hard ass in more ways than one, but her students are better off for it. They certainly make short work of any of our requests. Nails, hooks, blades, whatever you can think of. Only old Lycus didn't take too kindly to their presence, but that's because he's a half-rate smith whose blades are as limp as he is in the sack. Anyway, I like them. I'm not too wild about the curfew they've demanded, but Cassandra insists that it's for our safety. I haven't seen any Brotherhood or bandits while out on my hunts, so it's not like we're less safe because of it. With a toothy grin, Hyacinth offers a friendly wink as you approach. Fine day out, Fatebinder. Anything you need? Well, what do you think of Cassandra? Ha, she's a tough nut to crack. She's been pounding steel for so long that she's forgotten how to hang up the hammer and enjoy other pursuits. I first got to know her after we got to talking about hunting implements. I think she saw something in my enthusiasm for it all, and we've steadily become pals. She's a much different person after she unwinds. Not that there's anything wrong with having a tough exterior. She's a master of napping, after all. You've got to maintain appearances. I've never heard of napping as a profession, spelled with a K. That's definitely new to me. Cassandra's Gravelight tools seem unique. Any chance she'd part with them? We're here for the tools, as a reminder. Doubt it. All she ever goes on about is chisels. Moils, flates, tampers. Who knew there was so much to know about wedges with handles? If you need tools, ask her. I bet she'll make them for you just to show off what she can do. But her tools... Seriously, those are probably the only things in this world she genuinely loves. I'm a master of napping. Doesn't pay well, though. I know, right? Like, if only there was, like, Olympic napping competitions. That sounds wonderful. I gotta say. Okay. Everyone loves Cassandra. She's not going to give up her tools without some serious persuading. And we've learned that there is at least one person who is not a fan of hers. who we have not yet met. Heavy cloth sandals. Nothing special. Nothing special. Breakdancing will be in the next Olympics. Holy shit. That's awesome. How do you even judge that? I mean, I don't know anything about breakdancing, but like, that's really interesting. Starts to feel sleepy for competition. Yeah. Get those 40 winks in. And only then will you be a gold medal winner. Alright, got a little bit more loot over here, and then I think we're gonna go onto this rooftop and see what we see. We have Nicodemus, Cassandra, random loot. Quick save. We haven't done that in a while. Let's talk to Nicodemus down here. No idea how it's judged. Sounds pretty cool though. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I don't pay attention to any Olympics when they air. But hearing that there's breakdancing competitions immediately makes me more interested in seeing whatever it'll be, which I'm sure was the goal for adding it right in the first place. So, mission accomplished. A barrel-chested man surveys the areas with a stern expression, eyeing you nonchalantly as you approach. A large horseshoe mustache traces the top of his mouth before racing down to his chin. When he speaks, the bristles nearly mask his lips. Well met, Fatebinder. What do you need? Who are you? Nicodemus, Cassandra's second. I have a few seasons under my belt, unlike these pups in the forge. He gives a sideways glance back towards the work area. I watch over things when Cassandra has better things to do, which is always. What can you tell me about your leader? Tough, but fair. Cassandra knows that teaching and napping are both acts of reduction. In the case of teaching, one chips away at ignorance. Some don't like her approach. Some fools are not fit for our guild. Why are the Forge bound here? Ask Cassandra. She gives orders here. No point in me guessing at her meaning. Olympic planking. Don't watch much Olympics, but keeping it modern is always a good idea. Yeah, totally. I mean, I enjoyed when they added like the more extreme winter sports. That kind of crazy stuff is always fun to watch. So, um, is breakdancing a summer sport? Probably. Then again, if you're breakdancing on hot concrete, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, um, okay, so this guy has nothing useful to tell us. Cassandra is right there. Let's go take her stuff before we talk to her. So, we've heard there is one person here who is not happy with the status quo, but we don't see him, and there's no interiors here to go into. So, but I put the cardboard down, of course. See, I didn't even realize or remember the cardboard thing, so I'm obviously ignorant of this stuff. All right, let's quick save. Let's talk to Cassandra here. A small group of forge-bound stand in conference around an older, gray-haired woman. Blue, tattooed streaks trail down from her hairline, coming to rest upon a pair of eyebrows permanently fixed in a severe expression. She grasps a hunk of jasper and strikes it several times with a sharp piece of obsidian. The motion should feel rhythmic as you work the stone, as mundane as breath. Her sinewy biceps contract to control the force from each impact, keeping the jasper remarkably still. Listen to your senses. If the shape in your mind doesn't feel inevitable, then you're wasting your strength and my time. Noticing your approach, she halts her demonstration and waves off her apprentices. We'll continue this later. Sinewy biceps, hell yeah. Baybinder. I am Cassandra, master of napping. The forge-bound present are in my charge. She grants you a perfunctory nod. I know your time is limited, and South Haven too remote for this meeting to be chance. What is it that I can do for you? Let's be direct here. I'm here to retrieve Jaspus's napping tools. Jaspus's tools? What sort of nonsense is this? He has a rather elaborate tool set that was left at the crossing, correct? I'm here to collect it. What makes you think? Her eyes widen in recognition. Oh, I get it. She grits her teeth and scowls. I have a suspicion we're both being used. The tools in question are mine, given to me by Forge Master Zedenia years ago in honor of my semi-centennial with the guild. Zedenia met a bad end recently, so we can't confirm this story with her. Rip. After we left Lethian's crossing, I noticed the set was incomplete. Several key hammers and chisels, one of my best loops, all missing. At the time, I assumed the fault lay with me. The way to South Haven wasn't without its troubles, and I assumed I misplaced things during the shuffle. I would never have guessed that Jaspos would steal them from me, from his own master. If my knees were still good for sprinting, I'd chase down that ungrateful rake and pulverize his skeleton one bone at a time. Her rage seems to vanish with a shrug and a smile. And I suppose making tools is what I do best. Not like I can't replace what was lost, but those tools were a gift. Not even I can fashion sentimentality out of rock. I'm not sure how exactly I can help you with this situation, Fatebinder. We can ask why they're so special. We can insist. We can lie about insisting. I'm not sure what that would be. We can just sincerely say, okay, have a good day. Or we can attack her, which just seems like quite an overreaction. Well, okay, let's ask what makes these tools so special. Zedenia fashioned them as part of a series of works inspired by some pre-war study into the Tidecasters and their ways. She took it upon herself to spend a year working only with the crystals and metals the casters used in their designs. My tools were some of her best pieces that came from that year of experimentation. I try not to make a big deal about having tools inspired by Tearsman magic, but they are the finest I've used. I guess the idea is that some of the Moonlight's energy remains trapped in the business end of the tools. All I know is that with them in hand, I can work faster and with more precision and strength. In truth, I can do just fine with lesser tools. As much as I adore the set Zedenia made for me, nobody can make a handle to fit my hand quite like I do. She picks up a small hammer and twirls it in her hand. But if Jaspos thinks he can claim the rest of my tools and pretend to greatness, that ungrateful wretch is dead to me. So Jaspos was super friendly to us, and then we talked to Wagstaff, and he hates the guy, but like Wagstaff seems like kind of a dick, so it's not surprising. But now I think we've learned that Jaspos is not all he says he is. That garrulous exterior kind of hides something a little less friendly. I'm torn here. Like, we have nothing against Cassandra. Uh, she certainly seems to like be the person who deserves the tools, I guess, in some moral sense. I wish I understood better what lying would do here. Are we going to be able to like steal them later? Is that kind of what that opens up? Um, let's go with number 4. I misunderstood the situation. The tools are rightfully yours. Thank you, Fatebinder. She visibly relaxes, as do several of her apprentices, who quickly return to their duties. I'm glad we could clear up this misunderstanding, and I'm sorry that one of my own deceived you. As his instructor, I should have spotted the flaw in his scruples. The shame is mine that he was not cleft from our ranks sooner. Is there something else you need? Well, I thought Jaspos was master of napping, so maybe we'll learn a little bit more about him. Jaspos? I thought officers of the court would be better informed, Fatebinder. There can be only one master of napping at a time. I'm not a corpse yet, despite the wishes of my apprentices, so the title remains with me. So what rank does Jaspos hold if he's not a master? Why are we even talking about Jaspos? The only title he's fit to wear is Master of Arrogance. He was a dutiful enough student, but I've heard the boasts he's made to my apprentices in private. He learned quickly, I'll give him that, but he was a long way off from attaining any kind of mastery. It takes at least a decade of consistently impressive work before the guild will allow for the title of master to be bandied about. If I drop dead tomorrow, there are a dozen others more qualified to inherit my title. She lets out a long sigh, her eyes narrowing as her upper lip twitches. What gave you this notion that Jaspos is the master of napping? All right, lady. Thank you so much for the raid earlier. Enjoy that sleep, and I will talk to you when I talk to you. It's a detail that came up as part of an investigation of mine. I can say nothing more on the matter. If this is true, someone must be informed about. She halts her thought. She halts her thought in a clenched fist. If it's true that Jaspos is claiming such things, know that it is a punishable offense in the Forge-bound Guild. When you are more at liberty to discuss what you know, please bring this to the Guild's attention. Okay. I think we've closed off this quest, basically. How did you end up... Let's just learn more about her. How did you end up here in South Haven? As Master of Napping, it's my duty to build the forges that keep the others occupied. Bronze and iron are the Guild's trademark, but stone's the foundation. When Kairos' conquest began, my kin followed the armies into the tiers, and I led the efforts to build up Lethian's Crossing. With our task at the crossing complete, there was naught to do after but return home. I barely made the long march south, so I decided to head towards the closest port, just near here, and planned to catch a boat back home. But the journey here was difficult. Brotherhood bandits ambushed us on the road. Her eyes narrow at the memory, and she rubs the left side of her abdomen. They fancied our forge implements and thought them fair payment for use of the road. I refused, and we brained them with our hammers. She cracks her neck with a quick tilt of her head. I cracked a rib or three, and some others in the party were wounded, so resting in South Haven seemed wise. The locals were overly accommodating, and I started wondering if I'd even live through the sea voyage home. So I decided to set up shop and teach here. Our temporary stay became rather permanent. Do you know a man named Capteron? 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 Oh, for fuck's sake. She rolls her eyes in a sudden loss of composure. A lovesick cub, if I've ever seen one. He's helpful with hauling and odd jobs, but enough with this endless pining. Not that he's ever experienced love, as far as I can tell. He's well past fathering age, but probably couldn't find a vagina in a brothel. Oh. He mostly keeps his affections to himself, thankfully. He's harmless and always compliant if you yell loudly enough. You fancy spineless men? Have at 'em. Okay. Yeah, that's sick. Sick burn. This is a random item. You have hair? I thought all forge-bound shaved their heads. She permits a smirk for the briefest of moments. I've shaved my head for nearly every day of my life. I think I've earned a reprieve. She lightly smacks the back of an apprentice's head as he kneels to work. These idiots don't get that luxury. We have these traditions for a reason. If you waded into a forge fire all day, you know better than to grow a mop of wicks out of your head. Ugh. Alright, I must go. Napping on the job. Return to Jaspos. Alright. This was pretty quick. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to end it here after I travel to the next quest location. I gotta work tomorrow. So we'll zip on over to the next place and wrap things up. So let's head to Phlogiston. Maybe we'll have another encounter along the way. We'll spice things up for the end. Oh, this looks awesome. Awesomely ashy, it appears. Alright, cool. Let's get a real save in here. Sweet. Cool. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will probably be streaming this sometime this weekend. Monday is a half day for me. I'm debating whether or not to take the whole day off. So I'll probably stream Monday as well, but I'll definitely stream one day this weekend, if not more. Snow is coming, so it feels like a good time for streaming. So let's see, is there anything else? I'm starting to think about the next game that I'm going to stream after this. So after this, after I finish Tyranny, which, I mean, that's probably still 3 or 4 or 5 sessions to go. Yeah, winter is definitely coming to Portland. After Tyranny, I'm gonna stream Iron Danger, a game that Artyom gifted to me. We're gonna play through that, and that's similar to this game, but has a really neat like time rewind mechanic thing. And my impression is it's kind of puzzly as well. So we'll do that next, and then after that, I'm leaning towards replaying Final Fantasy IV. The new Final Fantasy XIV expansion is heavily referencing Final Fantasy IV, so I thought I would get in on the hype and replay that one. It's been a long time since I played it, so we'll see. We'll see what I'm in the mood for. I'm open to suggestions as well. I have a large backlog, as we all do. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I saw Iron Danger is not long, which I think I want. I want something a little shorter. I'm also kind of in the mood to try a whole new genre, you know, like a shooter, like maybe Metro 2033 or BioShock 2. I'm not sure. What's gonna happen is after Iron Danger, whatever I'm in the mood for, like that day, is gonna be the game that we stream. But okay, well, yeah, I'd love to have you here, Havoc. And like, I'm not against like, you know, people helping out, you know, when I'm playing games. So it would be cool to kind of get your tips and tricks, you know, as I get through it. But yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, that is the vague plan. I've also pretty much decided that Wednesdays will be as scheduled a stream as I have at the moment. So Wednesdays at 7 Pacific time, I will try to be here. Otherwise, we'll just see whenever I'm in the mood and have the time to do it. Yeah. It's too bad you. I was worried when you came into Wolfie's stream today. It was like a big story moment, and I was like, no, go away. So I hope you didn't see anything there. But Mafia looked really good, but I know myself, and I know I'm just not gonna get to it anytime soon. Even though I do want to play it, but oh, you know the story. Okay, all right. Well, fair enough. Still, yeah, I figured I would rather watch it since someone I know is playing it, rather than just wait till 10 years from now when I finally get around to it. So, the remake is gorgeous. It is a stunningly beautiful game. I would love just driving around that city, and not doing anything else, basically. So yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, gobsmacked is the proper description there. All right, guys. I am gonna go to sleep and work tomorrow, and I hope I will see you guys again soon. Thanks again so much for hanging out, and I look forward to the next time. I'm really enjoying streaming, so hopefully that comes through. And thanks for hanging out. So yeah, talk to you guys later. I'm gonna hit this end stream button and hope that it works because we've been having issues lately. So take care, everybody.